Hi everyone, this is Space Toad and welcome to this new BuildCraft video. Today I'm going to be talking about the latest BuildCraft release, which is BuildCraft 6.05. Now this is quite a milestone because this is the first version of BuildCraft and the next-gen branch that is going to provide the builder systems to people playing in survival. So let's get started and have a look at the content. Of course, because we're talking about survival, we are going to have to consider recipes. So I'm going to start with just going over the various recipes that can be used with regards to building mechanisms. The first one you already know, but just for completeness, this is the landmark, and let me get rid of TMI for now. Landmarks which allow to define a three-dimensional area in the world and which are crafted out of a redstone torch and lapis lazuli. Now these markers are new. These are the path markers, and they are crafted out of a redstone torch and a cactus green dye. Those allow to create path on the world and to create things, to build things along this path, but we'll see that in more details later. Now, with regards to building machines, if you look at in particular the feeder, and this one is the same feeder that has been around in BuildCraft for ages, but the part that is interesting is the top part, these ink sacks, dandelion yellow, crafting table and landmark. This top part is going to be common for all the building machines of BuildCraft, and the bottom part is going to vary from machine to machine. So advanced crafting table requires golden gears and a chest. Now just one word of caveat here, there is some work being done around the idea of tiers of technology, and that may require those recipes to be changed a bit, but it's not going to be happening in the coming weeks or maybe even months. So for now, those recipes will stay and are just good as is. Anyway, this is the usual filler recipe. Now if I go to the more advanced recipe for the builder, again you can see that the top is exactly the same. Actually we have a chest at the same location, but the golden gears have been replaced by diamond gears. Okay, so obviously it's a more complex machine, it is a bit more expensive to craft than the default one. The architect table, which is going to be able to record elements from the world, is very similar, except that I have a blueprint instead of the chest at the bottom level. And you know pretty much the BuildCraft building machines with all these three recipes. Now there are other elements that you need to know how to craft. The first one being the template. Template is a special kind of blueprint that require the absence or the presence of a block on the world, and then can replicate this pattern with whatever block. It's a bit like a generalized filler, if you will. So anyway, to craft a blueprint, you need a bunch of paper, wrapping, an ink sac. Oh, sorry, to craft a template, paper, wrapping, an ink sac. So now the general blueprint recipe is similar, except that it takes lapis lazuli in the center, and obviously, as you probably already know, the blueprint will record any kind of block from the world and will allow to replicate complicated structures. Last but not least, the blueprint library will allow you to transfer blueprints from world to world, or even share them amongst the BuildCraft community. To craft a blueprint library, you need a bunch of blueprints wrapping a bookshelf. So these are the recipes for BuildCraft Survival. Now I'm going to go over those mechanics. If you've seen the previous videos from BuildCraft, there is a lot of what I'm going to say that you already know, but I think it's a good time to wrap it up and see the full content. So starting with the filler. Um, the filler didn't change much, except for the fact that it is now using a different animation for building. It used to be the case that the filler didn't have any animation. The builder and actually the quarry were using this little robot, and it was a bit awkward. So now, as you know, robots are going to be an element on their own. They are being developed in a further stage of next gen, so they are removed on the earlier stages of the game. And there is a new animation that is now available. I'm going to demonstrate that, showing a new filler pattern implemented in next gen, which is the frame. And as you can see, that there is some energy left in that machine, which is why it got activated as soon as I sent the frame pattern. And you saw this little boxes, these red boxes that goes sent away, and there are kind of little bombs, if you will, that are going to destroy blocks that do not match the content of the filler pattern. So now I'm going to put a couple of blocks here to fill, and if I remember correctly, there is still a small bug here, so I'm going to remove those two flowers. That's going to get fixed before release, hopefully. Anyway, placing the blocks, and now activating the system. And as you can see, now it looks like BuildCraft is sending those blocks around and placing them at the expected location. It looks a bit better. It looks a bit less arbitrary, if you will. So now what you're seeing here is going to be the animation for all the building machineries. Okay, so just going to let it finish its thing to show what the frame pattern looks like. It's basically the patterns that being used now by the quarry to create the frame around the area that's being dug. Anyway, and here we are. I've almost finished. No, it's good. I finished this thing, and as you can tell here, it detected properly. Except from the fact that it's still trying to build the. Oh yeah, there's a bug here. Not doing too well when there are flowers or grass at the moment, but that's going to be easy to fix before the actual release. Anyway, carrying on, I can turn that off, and we are now going to have a first look at the architect table. So here I've created a small structure, right? Different kind of blocks, doors. For information, I'm even having these objects here, which in Minecraft terminology are entities, not blocks. And there's some specific way of handling those. And this guy is getting annoying, so let me push it away. So blueprints can record some kind of entities, so hanging items, hanging paintings, as well as minecarts. Anyway, so I want to replicate that exact same structure somewhere else. I'm going to go to my table, give it a name, and then just write the blueprint. Now you see those two buttons here. Let me get rid of TMI for now. Those are new. I mean, you may have seen them in the previous release, but this is a new next-gen development. Basically, BuildCraft is supposed to be able to record any vanilla block, whether that is a Minecraft vanilla block or a BuildCraft vanilla block. If you have third-party modes, they may be missing support. In particular, the most common issue is rotation. So you can deactivate rotation of the structure in the blueprint, which means that the structure will always be built facing the same direction, which should fix a number of issues. For more complex blocks, you may want to deactivate anything that is not considered as being a simple block, that is to say, any block that has an inventory, like chests, for example, or blocks that have specific dynamic semantics. And you can deactivate those by clicking on this button and select simple blocks. But this is vanilla Minecraft plus BuildCraft here, so I'm fine leaving everything on. Again, if there is something missing here, that's a bug, and please report it so that we can fix it. Anyway, and this is nighttime already, so I'm setting that time to the morning. I'm going to try avoid falling into that pit, and let's say that I want to create the structure here. I'm placing the builder, the engine. I'm going to take my blueprint, and as soon as I place it in the builder, I can see that in the needed section here appear the blocks that are required to craft that element. So I'm going to use TMI to provide some wood planks and some cobblestone, and I think this should be ready to get powered and start building. Okay. So as for the filler, you see now the fact that the animation is the same becomes handy. As for the filler, I'm starting by sending those little red boxes, I guess bombs, that are going to clear out the area that is not supposed to be here. The amount of energy that is required to send those, as well as the number that is being sent per block, varies depending on the hardness of the block. So in particular, attacking or destroying a piece of stone takes more energy than destroying a piece of dirt. Gets interesting if you have obsidian around. As a matter of fact, well, okay, well, I'll show that later on. I'm not quite sure why he kept those two pieces of dirt. It's probably a bug. Let me get rid of them real quick. Anyway, so as you can see, it just built the basic structure. I'm going to provide it with doors. Okay, so which are elements that are slightly more complicated than just the bare blocks. It's taking them automatically and placing them at the correct location. Now, if I look here, I can tell that there is only 2 frames that are missing, and Build Blueprint knows that one requires an emerald and one requires a diamond. If I open TMI again and start adding those item frames, still not working because the system knows that the frame by itself is not enough. I need to provide the full stacks to be able to build one of these objects. So let's start with the diamond. Okay, and now that I got everything, the system built this frame automatically, and it's going to be the same if I add the diamond. Sorry, the emerald. So that's just a simple example of how blueprints are supported in this version of BuildCraft, but much more complex machinery can be recorded in those blueprints. You can have engines, you can have pipes, you can have pipe logic and those kind of things with vanilla Minecraft and BuildCraft. For other mods, again, by default, basic simple things are going to be working out of the box, but if you want more complex machinery to be working out, it's going to have to go through the people that know and develop those mods. By the way, feel free to offer to them my services if anybody wants to learn how to provide specific support to the BuildCraft blueprints. I'd be more than happy to help. Carrying on, I'm now going to introduce you to the path markers if you haven't followed the previous sections of those videos. So here I've got a small section of power transportation system maybe, and I want to replicate that over a large area. So what I'm going to do is to define this area through path markers. I'm going to say it's going to start here, and in this very example I'm going to go straight. Selecting another one here. I could have, turns. It could go up, down, left, right. Wouldn't matter, but here, just for the example, I like it better if it's straight. So anyway, putting one here, and if I right-click on one of the markers, I'm linking them, and it's going to be always linking to the closest one. So anyway, actually, I want that to be just a tad more. What am I doing? Just a tad more long, so just extending a bit, just up until here. Okay, that's good enough for the demonstration. And here we go. So I've created a, granted straight, but nonetheless long path on which I'm going to replicate that structure here. Placing a builder. Now selects this path as being the builder path, the path to build. Little display glitch. Again, this is still alpha beta stage, so there are still some stuff that are not working exactly as expected, but that should start to be pretty stable at this stage. Anyway, I need a blueprint to record, let's call it power. Alright, so I'm placing the blueprint in the builder. Now I need golden pipes, fences, and wood planks. Okay, let's fill that up. Placing pipes, planks. Is that the correct one? Yes, I think so. And the fences. And now the last step obviously is to power this system. Okay, and now you can see that the blueprint selected the first section to build and is sending the object around, just replicating that blueprint. And when it's done, it's moving to the next part. And again, following the same pattern, removing everything that is supposed to be removed, and replicating this thing. And it's going to do that over and over and over again up until it reaches the end of the path I've defined here. So that can be extremely handy if you would like to create, let's say, a road or a corridor over a long distance. That could be very useful as well if you were trying to create the same structure, like let's say you want to create 10 factories and you have the blueprint for one factory. Then using this mechanism you could define the area on where you want to build those factories one after the other, and the builder will just take care of building those for you. Anyway, carrying on, we are reaching the end of this demonstration. I wanted to show real quick how the template works. So I'm going to use my landmarks. Actually, I'm going to start with defining a shape in the world. You get out. So at this stage, really the block I'm using doesn't matter. I'm just defining a shape. So let's do something simple. In real life, I may be creating a house, for example, and want this house to be built out of wood, out of stone, and other things. But here I'm just creating this very, very small pyramid, and I have my markers actually. So I'm going to, yeah, let's do that. Actually, one thing I like to do, let's do something more fun. I'm going to create a tree shape. So let me isolate this tree, or do we have one that is, this one is more isolated. Okay, so I'm going to record the shape of this tree. That's going to be more interesting. Okay, this one is not more isolated than the previous one. So let's take this one. So in order to do that, I'm going to put some markers around it, just to select the shape of this tree. Yeah. Okay. And all right. Okay, so now I almost got it. Okay, that's it. I mean, I just had the idea when running the video, that's why the setup wasn't done already. Ah boy, I need to do something a bit higher. And this video is getting longer than the other ones. It's nighttime already. Alright. Okay, so as you can see, the tree is now in the box, and if I put an architect table, I'm moving to the this box to the selection area, and now I can take a template. I have one already actually. Call it tree, and just record the template in this tree template. Now I'm going to create here actually stone tree. So again, just taking a builder, placing the tree in the builder slot, and you can see that now it doesn't need anything specific, so there's nothing displayed in the needed area. Nonetheless, I can still place my engines and power it. Okay, and let's set redstone torch here. I had some already. Right, so now that it is being powered, I just have to give it stones. And I'm going to create a stone tree. So that's one of the ways this this pattern thing could be used. Granted, the full blueprint has a lot more future that just this, but you know, in certain occasions it's nice to be able to create a base shape and change the content of it. Before we go out, I just wanted to have a quick talk about the blueprint library. So I'm going to get one now. Alright, so the blueprint library allows to store and retrieve blueprints from previous games or even from other people. Let's say over there, I'm trying not to fall, I want to store this blueprint. Okay, those engines are not doing anything anymore. So I have the structure blueprint here. I'm placing the library here, and okay, I'm going to take a blank blueprint 2. Okay, so as you can tell here, I've got a bench. Let me get rid of TMI. Bench of blueprints that have been created by other players, and I can just retrieve any of these blueprints and write them in my world like that, and then reuse them into builders. Now let's say I'm very happy with this structured blueprint and I want to store it across all my games. What I'm going to do is to place it here. Okay, and this activates the writing process. And now if I browse the library contents, I should see one structure library, just right here, that I can now retrieve for further usage. And you know, those are stored on disk, so these are actual files that you can carry around. There is a number of those that are already available on the BuildCraft website. So just as a final bonus, I wanted to show you what the animation looked like when trying to destroy obsidian, because obviously obsidian is a lot more solid than other block. Actually, I quite like this new mechanism, because that means that it's not as easy to destroy some blocks than others. So here I've got this obsidian block, and as you can see, the filler that was still active is not very happy about it, and it is destroying the obsidian blocks, but it requires some extra power to do so. And yeah, so it's storing the power from the engines, and once it has enough, and hopefully that will happen soon, you're going to see the stream. Okay, here we go, the stream of bombs, if you will, that's getting to the obsidian and removing it. Anyway, that was what I wanted to show about BuildCraft 6.05. Again, this is the first version of BuildCraft Next Gen, which has contents to be added in survival. Still some bugs, in particular there may be dupe bugs, but by all means let me know, let us know what your findings are. Please do share your blueprints on the BuildCraft forum, so that we can try them out, see how it works, and maybe improve the system. But for now, thank you so much for having watched the video, and I hope to talk to you again soon. Bye bye.